Hello everybody, my name is Philip Blake from the PBM'S channel, and on today I'm here to talk to you guys, why do I love Thomas the Tank Engine? But first, here's this short video of the #1 blue tank engine we know and love.
Light the way to our next station. I can follow the light. Lead the way with your lantern. Light the way. I can follow the light. You're a really useful engine driver.
Picture, if you will, a land where the sky is so blue and the sun is shining, and the fields and valleys are green as can be. And there are railway lines that go through stations, inside tunnels, over hills, over and under bridges. This is the island of Sodor, where Thomas and his friends live. They work hard to be responsible, reliable, and really useful. Number 1. How did my adventure with Thomas begin? My adventure with Thomas started when I was 2 years old. I had the wooden trains, the metal trains, and even Tomy trains, and I had a couple of Thomas and Friends VHS tapes. When I was 3 years old, I got a Thomas and Friends train table from my grandparents. I had so much fun with it. I tried to recreate the Thomas stories that I've watched. Thomas the Tank Engine was my biggest major piece of my childhood, and it still is today. Number 2. How did I carry on this adventure? When I was probably around 7 or 8 years old, I did not want to stop my adventure. I want to still like Thomas and Friends. It's like this. Let's say that, when you're in 2nd or 3rd grade and still into things like Thomas or Bob the Builder or whatever show you liked as a toddler, you can either keep liking it or be done with it and do something that isn't Thomas, or like it sometimes, but not all the time. So I decided to continue my adventures with Thomas and his friends most of the time. Number 3. Do I still watch the show? To be honest, yes, because I like its personality, imagination, and the characters are pretty amazing. When I was little, my favorite character was Gordon, because he's big, blue, fast, and he pulls the express. And of course, I also love Thomas. But now I'm older, my favorite character is all of the above, because they all have great personality and they're all really useful. Another thing I want to talk to you guys about is something important. If someone said anything negative about like what you love or what I love, what I would do is not to let the others' opinions stop you from doing what you love. Because, well, when you're in like middle school or high school, it can be a little different to be liking Thomas, right? I'm not saying in a bad way, but in a good way. Yeah. I mean, there's some things you can do, like collect the Thomas merchandise, and you can collect Thomas VHS tapes. Thomas DVDs. Some toys, books, or whatever. And you could also like draw pictures based on your love for the show, or like say that make YouTube videos about Thomas the Tank Engine. And that's what I've been doing for years now, and I've been enjoying it. And I enjoy making other videos too, like of course Thomas and Friends, and of course My Little Pony, Cars, whatever. Anyways, back to Thomas, because I'm supposed to be talking about Thomas in this video. Number 4. Which Thomas series do I like the best? I think they're all great, but I will tell you my thoughts. Warning, no haters out there. Starting, of course, with the classic series, seasons 1 through 7. I grew up with the classic series. I watched some episodes from seasons 1 through 7 on VHS and DVD. And of course, watched them on cable. Seasons 1 through 4 episodes are based on the Railway series, and that was pretty interesting to know that. So I think the classic series are probably my favorites, and I think that's most people's favorite too, if you ask me. Now this mini-series I want to talk to you guys about, it's called Jack and the Soder Construction Company series, and I have one DVDs for it, or one of the episodes in this DVD. Anyways, I know it's not part of the main series, but I'll say that this mini-series is pretty good. It kind of reminded me of season 7. Well, it was supposed to take place, well, it takes place after season 7, before the 8th season. And it also reminded me a bit of Bob the Builder, for obvious reasons. Moving on to the new series, seasons 8 through 11, it was a bit different from the classic series, but I think it's still a good season. Not as good as seasons 1 through 7, but still pretty good. Now this season, season 12, is quite unique because they still use the model engines and other things from the new model series, but the engines, faces, and the humans are CGI, which I think it's pretty nice. Now the CGI series, it all began with the 4th Thomas movie, Hero of the Rails, and the 13th season of Thomas and Friends. Now there's a lot of CGI episodes I like, but there's some I didn't care much for. Honestly, the CGI seasons 17 through the present are probably the best CGI seasons. As for Big World Big Adventure series, so far I think it's good. They may not be as good as the classic series, seasons 1 through 7, but they're still unique. Before we move to number 5, here's one other thing. Do I like the Thomas movies? Yes. There's some that I like, some I did not care much for, but my favorite Thomas movie is Thomas and the Magic Railroad. If you haven't seen this movie, check it out. It's really good. Number 5, finding a Thomas the Tank Engine event. Here in the USA, there are 3 Thomas events. One in Massachusetts, it's called Thomasland. Another one in Pennsylvania is called Thomastown. But this one event happens every year on each railroad. It's called Day Out with Thomas. At Day Out with Thomas, you can ride on board Thomas, meet Sir Topham Hatt, enjoy live music, storytelling, and make a stop at Imagination Station, and much, much more. If you're looking for a special Day Out with Thomas event near you, go to thomasandfriends.com. When I was a toddler, I've been to my first Day Out with Thomas. I barely remembered it, but the pictures are pretty believable. My second trip, which was in the 2011 event, and boy, I had a lot of fun there. Now here's my third trip to Day Out with Thomas in this next video, so all aboard for the Day Out with Thomas Big Adventures Tour 2018 experience. Alright guys, we're gonna go out to see Thomas, so let's go.
Guys, there's Thomas right there. Oh my goodness. Wow. Hey Thomas. Thomas! Bye, Thomas! Thomas! Thomas is leaving the station! A bubble machine, you guys. Look, look. Thomas is coming back, you guys. And I'm gonna go ride on it. Let's go! Alright, guys, we're on board Thomas. This is gonna be so fun. Now we're going forward. Alright guys, I'm about to get a photo with Thomas, so here we go. Alright guys, we're getting a tattoo, or at least I'm getting a tattoo. I think I know which one I want. Hey Thomas, you're a really useful engine! Alright guys, it's time for me to get my surprise. Now before I end this video, I wanted to say one thing. I see Thomas not just a drawing in a book or a character on TV, but as a friend. I see Thomas as one of my friends. I see Thomas on TV, on books, as toys and collectibles, even on a live on stage event back in 2007. And of course, Day Out with Thomas. If it wasn't for Thomas, I would not have been into trains. So thank you, Thomas, for being my friend and teaching me the values of friendship, working together, and the importance of trust and honesty. And every journey is when I'll want to watch them again and again. And you taught me this: children, follow the dream. And indeed I have. Hopefully more children can follow that dream too. And that's the end of this special video. See you all next time.